The Pride in Education document, which is available on Brightspace for all staff, is a really important step in the equity work that we've been doing, but also in the work that we're doing to bring content that is more inclusive and truly reflective of the community in which we live. So it's important to make sure that all voices and people have a place in our schools and classrooms. These documents will allow for an opportunity to thread through our work a voice and perspective that should not be missed in our classrooms. Pride in Education is not only important for the wealth of information and resources it contains, but for the ways it will allow for authentic weaving of 2S LGBTQIA+ history, heritage, and contributions and content. It is vital that our curriculum reflects all folks so that students can learn, thrive, and see themselves reflected in the work that they are learning.
I'm Roz Salvador, the board's Human Rights and Equity System Advisor. I am thrilled that we have this wonderful new Pride in Education resource. It is so clear how impactful queer positive educators in school environments are for students. We know that our 2S LGBTQIA+ students have a right to an inclusive classroom and school and to see themselves reflected in the curriculum. The Pride in Education D2L helps get us there. It's a support for teachers who are already doing this work, and also for teachers who need to integrate queer positive content or address an issue in their classroom but aren't sure where to start. I encourage all of our educators and school administrators to review and use the module as a resource. I'm very grateful to everyone who put this together with such thoughtfulness and care for our 2S LGBTQIA+ students.
Hello, Sego. My name is Melanie Garrett. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a two-spirited Mohawk woman of the Wolf Clan. My mother's family comes from the Six Nations of the Grand River Territory. I was very impressed with the Pride in Education resource preview that I saw. I believe this resource takes a holistic look at a broad topic. It is well organized and well presented. I love that there are sections highlighting the achievements of local people and the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. Providing Pride education to students will foster a sense of acceptance for the 2S LGBTQIA+ youth and will create allies amongst their peers. Going forward, Windsor students will come to understand more about the Pride community, and they will likely become ambassadors for change. I truly believe other school boards would benefit from this resource as well. Kudos to the employees of the Greater Essex County District School Board who worked so hard to put this resource together.
Hi, I'm Nancy Campana. I go by she and her pronouns, and I'm the co-founder of Run for Rocky. I was able to view the new teacher resource, Pride in Education, which is now available to all educators on the teacher portal for the Greater Essex County District School Board. I encourage every educator to take some time and look through this resource and start using programming through the resource to make sure your class is LGBTQ+ inclusive. What a wonderful resource has been put together for you to make sure inclusion is at the forefront of education, which is so important to so many students sitting in your classroom.
Hello there, my name's Derek Carl Bizzo. I use they, them, their pronouns exclusively, and I'm the program administrator and facilitator with QLink Windsor Essex. It's a collaborative of Windsor Pride Community, Windsor Essex Pride Fest, and Family Services Windsor Essex. We're supporting 2S LGBTQ youth in our community here in this region, and I do the group programs to support them. And I'm here today just to encourage you to really enjoy the resources that have been prepared to support you supporting the youth in the schools. This sort of education is really important, not just for your students and helping you support your students, but just helping with your own growth, development, and awareness. The reality is we all have a gender, we all have a sexuality, and there's a long history of being forced to conform, being encouraged to stay hidden, or being forced to be erased when we have been different from what's been expected of us, assumed of us, and what we've been coerced to try to be. There's history, there's art, there's members of the community who we can look up to. There's such a rich resource here for you to enjoy for you to use and also to share with your colleagues, with your peers, and with your students. The reality is wherever there have ever been people, there are queer people, there are trans people. We have always existed, we're always going to exist. The reality is a lot of us don't see ourselves in the world, and not all of us feel like we can grow from being children into adults. This resource will hopefully help you help those youth see themselves becoming healthy adults. So thank you so much for taking the time to enjoy these resources, to work through these resources, to be challenged by these resources. I do hope that you reach out for support as you need it as well, and know that doing this work, being a safe adult, being someone who can be in solidarity with your queer and trans students, is going to save lives. It's going to make a world of difference, and it's going to also be helpful for your own growth and development as a person. So enjoy. Thanks so much. Take care. Ta-ta for now.
I think it's important to include queer experiences within our curriculum to help normalize those experiences, to help have students think about other people's perspectives and experiences, and to make school a safer place for all students to learn in.
I think it's important for queer history and queer perspectives to be incorporated within our curriculum, as it makes teachers connect with students and truly understand some of the things that queer students may go through. It connects them, and it makes queer students actually feel a part of their community, and it makes it a safer space for all students when we can learn about the history of people who've come before us and fought to have these stories told within our school and for future generations.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Crowley. My pronouns are she and her, and I am an elementary teacher with the Greater Essex County District School Board. I am so proud to be celebrating the launch of Pride in Education to serve as a resource for the staff of the GECDSB. Our students need to feel not only accepted, but celebrated for being exactly who they are when they show up to our classrooms. Ensuring we are doing all we can as a system to model and teach inclusion ensures the 2S LGBTQAI+ students that are already in every classroom, in every school across our board, know that they are seen, heard, and supported by our staff. Thank you for taking the time to review this collection of material and for all you do to support our kids.
Hello, my name is Walter Cassidy, and I'm the lead creator of Pride in Education, which is an online resource meant for educators both in the classroom and the school in general to create a more inclusive environment for our 2S LGBTQAI+ students. I'm going to walk you through basically some of the resources and materials that are available on this website. To start off with, we have a bunch of tabs that starts with how to implement this Pride in Education. Some of the instructions are to be very clear of that. Some of it is meant for educators to go through to expand their understanding of the materials, and other pieces are meant directly for students. When it comes of starting an introduction on this resource, we start looking at some of the national and provincial statistics, and as well as the issues that the queer and trans youth have to go through, as well as we go through this concept of the whole idea of what the different letters stand for, and we start with 2S being two-spirited all the way down to I for intersex. We also include a glossary of terms, which helps educators have a better understanding of what certain terms mean, example, dead name. And then we have some resources to help educators have a better understanding of things like just the complex idea of gender, as well as basic concepts of human rights, and importance of intersectionality and the complexity of multiple identities when it comes to the queer and trans community. One of my favorites is the section called Fun with Flags, which gives a history of the importance of the rainbow flag and coding in the queer community, as well as giving an oversight of the different time periods of the flags. There's a section on how to support parents and working with parents and guardians in the 2S LGBTQ community, what an inclusive school looks like, and important days to celebrate or observe in the community. Further down, we have a section on queer pedagogy that goes through the different concepts of how to support students in the classroom and different theories in relation to that. And then we have an introduction to the elementary classroom, and it breaks down the classroom based into different sections, including the kindergarten, the primary class, the junior class, and the intermediate class. And when you click on these, there are basic do's and don'ts for educators to help create a more inclusive environment, and as well as some basic supports in the different subject areas, including math, literacy, French, science, arts, physical education. In the secondary, it is more thorough because of the different subject areas, and we break down each subject area. Example, in the arts, we have dance, media arts, music, theater arts, visual arts and vocal, and world studies. In history, and in relation to history, we focus on some of the historical connections in history, both on an international, national, and provincial level, civics and politics, law, geography, economics, and then we look at the inclusive English classroom, physical education, math, the sciences, which includes areas about STEM and biology and chemistry, and then also social sciences, which includes materials about fashion, as well as anthropology, sociology, and religion. In relation to technology, we have resources in construction, hairstyling, hospitality, and tourism, and we even have some resources for both French and Spanish. When it comes to outside of the classroom, we have information and supports for our guidance teachers, as well as methods to support GSAs, clubs in the schools, extracurricular sports and competition, how support staff can support students, and as well as allyship in creating a brave space. And then the Gender and Sexuality for Staff, which is an organization that helped create this tool. And we have resources for the online classroom. And then we have, which is my favorite, is a local history section, and looking at basically how we can include elements of our history in our schools. We have a local timeline, we have some historical events that happened over 180 years ago, notable people from World War I and World War II, connections between different national organizations on a local level. We have different organizations that we want to give note to, as well as we have a list of notable people who have done great things for our community. And this is a continuous section, always finding new people and always wanting to make sure to include those individuals when we come across them. And then Windsor in relation to the AIDS crisis, and Windsor in relation to their first Pride Parade in 1992 and other events. Then we have a section of community resources, and we're able to give basic information of how our educators can connect to our community to try to get more supports and to collaborate with in the future. So this is a basic outline of all the resources. It is very extensive and would take much longer time to go into detail, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this gives you a better understanding of how we're making this place more inclusive.